All right, so the ECHL standings are constantly changing. It's almost like an amoeba, if you will. This is a look at the league as a whole. So we know they're going after the Brabham Cup. We're speaking of the Toledo Walleye, but Florida, pretty good up there as well. They're number one overall. They're playing Jacksonville. They got 3 games left. Toledo just 2. So the thought is Jacksonville not very good. Florida is good, so Florida should take the Brabham Cup. But as you see, the Walleye right there, not far behind. If they win out, they still have a chance. And there you see how the rest of it shakes out as far as the teams that have clinched playoff spots. It doesn't say a whole lot about the division, but we know the Walleye have clinched that division, still awaiting that first round opponent. Now, the voice of the Walleye, Matt Melzak, was in studio with us earlier this week and had these thoughts. Okay, I put it off as long as I could here, Matt. Last 2 games of the regular season, and I see a team looming that could be a pretty good playoff precursor. The Fort Wayne Comets are coming in.
I'll tell you what, it is at Toledo, though, this week. Yeah. And you go ahead and take a look at that, and you say, okay, this is great. But you know what? There's nothing really on the line for either team at this point. Right, true. I mean, Toledo still does have a shot at winning the Brabham Cup, but they need to win both of their games and have pretty much Jacksonville help them out. To finish out the year.
By beating Florida.
By beating Florida.
Probably not going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Right. Jacksonville, 10 games under 500. They're playing out the string. Yeah. But you look at, okay, why winning the division was so important. Because now you know that there's going to be that matchup that's going to come down the road. Now, Cincinnati, they could be a totally different team when they hit the playoffs. Depends on how many guys Rochester keeps. And, you know, if they end up with a few guys back, now all of a sudden they could be a different team and they might knock out Fort Wayne early. But you're right. This could be a possible playoff preview, and more than likely it will be, and that's where winning the division was so important, so that you have that first game in Toledo and the last game in Toledo if the series goes that long. And then the bonus of having the conference, too. So if you play Colorado or Allen or Idaho, whoever you end up playing in that third round, you can start at home.
And speaking of playoffs, we can look at that now. I mean, yes, there's still some pieces that need to go into place, but Kalamazoo, Toledo, we've seen that as a first-round matchup before. We could probably see it again.
Don't overlook Indy here in the whole scheme of things. They could find their way in. Kansas City's kind of got an outside shot. They better win the next couple nights if they have any hope of really making it. So it's kind of falling to that Kalamazoo, Indy. And I think we talked a couple of weeks ago, and I said I felt like it was going to be Kalamazoo. And in the end, I still feel it's going to be that way. But you know, they dropped a game over the weekend at Norfolk that they probably shouldn't have. So you never know, I guess. But, yeah, we've seen that story before. We may see it again coming up next week.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, when you join us next week, it's going to be playoff hockey back in Toledo. I cannot wait. I know you were excited, right?
I am fired up, ready to go. I love this time of year.
The big question is, Booter fired up?
Yes, he is completely fired up for playoff hockey.